Now, I had the pleasure of, when this was happening live, I had the pleasure of sitting with Chris Brewer and Joao Vieira, and they were going over every spot, like super GTO, da 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 da. And they didn't like the play very much. They had their reasons for it. For me personally, I look at the macro view, and I think with who was left, I think she's way too good to get it in there. I think she's too good of a player. She mentioned this herself, because I was listening to one of the interviews. She mentioned how when you're a good player, like, you have to pass on some spots in the main event, right? You pass on some small EV spots because they're too high risk and they're not worth, like, similar to like maybe the Nicholas Asted bust with the King Jack, right? It's probably too high risk of a situation for a player that good to take this close spot, right? And I think she's in that class where she's too good, and this is maybe a spot that she passed on. So the question is, how do you defend it correctly? I think call is good, actually. I think my preferred play is call, because when you call, as long as you're keeping all your traps in there, right? Your sets, your straights, your two pairs, like anything like that. As long as you're just check calling those a decent amount, like, he's going to have to just shut down river. He can't just like YOLO bluff every river. Because like when you think about if he is bluffing turn, right? What is he doing now with a flush draw? Well, generally, solver doesn't want to have a flush draw because it blocks some of the draws that, could be there. So it puts him in a tough position when you check call. And if she did, I think she would have had something in the neighborhood of like 25 million left had she not made the play. So again, like, I guess it's such a unique spot because you can look at it as either equity denial, which is essentially under a value bet, right? Where it's like denying equity. That's a value bet. You think you have the best hand. Or a bluff, which is trying to get ace X off. I think the dangerous part about trying to get ace X off is the texture of the board. There's like a 3 straight already there and there's 2 flush draws, right? So an ace is going to I think an ace is often going to find like, man, I beat so many combos here. She can have so many bluffs. He's going to give her credit for those. And I think he makes a crying call with any ace that he bets. Wow. If he has an ace that he doesn't plan to bet, first, I don't think he bets that size with one of those ace hands. And the ace hands that he is going to bet that size, I think he's calling. Like, I don't know that she has enough fold equity against the hands that beat her. So if she's only getting worse hands to fold or equity denial, yeah, there's value in that, right? Like, let's say he did bet a flush draw. He picked up spades or something. Like, yeah, there's value in that. But I think overall, and again, this is simply because I think for a lot of players, I'd say, yeah, go for it, right? But my sort of exploit there would be you're too good, right? Like, you specifically with that stack are deadly, right? And this is a really thin spot. Like, this is a very, very close spot in a very, very, she even said so. It was a really close spot. So close that I think, I don't know if she's looked at it or thought about it. In the moment, she said she was fine with her call. I wonder, like, now, if she still looks back and thinks, she would have done it. Cause yeah, if I was her coach and she's asking me what to do in that spot, I'd say just call and then fold river.